Now I want to show you what is generators panel. Here you can see generators panel. If you click and hold it, you can see here we have 6 items. Next is subdivision surface. When you click on it, here we can see subdivision surface. Just remember that all of these options other than Bezier, you should change your object, drag and drop inside your generator tools. For example, here I have these objects, very simple objects. I want to show you what is a subdivision surface. Subdivision surface is useful for smoothing your object. For example, here we can see many edge here. For example, here edge, edge, edge. It's not good, but if you drag and drop your object inside subdivision surface, wow, you can see what's happening now. It's really cool. All edge is gone, and here we have a smoothing object. And if you go to display and then here click for see these segments, you can see here we have many segments. When you click on subdivision surface, here we can see subdivision surface properties. Here in subdivision editor and subdivision render, if you click and change this number 3 and change this number here, we can see it's much smoother, and we have more polygons here and more segments. Again, if you click on it, you can see now we have a lot of segments here for smoothing. You can use this for any object. For example, if I turn here, drag this here. For example, if I gonna add a landscape here and change this to here and turn on spheral, more scale. For example, something like this. If I drag and drop under this subdivision surface and change this to grad shading here, we can see, wow, it's very smoothing now. If I drag here, you can see it's not very good here, but if I drag and drop under the subdivision surface, you can see what's happening now. You can use this subdivision surface in your project. It's very useful. That's really good. Okay. Next here, if you click and hold it, is extrude. Extrude is very useful option in the Cinema 4D. Okay, I'm gonna to delete this landscape, subdivision surface. Now from here, add a text, and for example, Cinema 4D. Okay, type your text and then here hold it and click on the extrude. And now, as I told you, you should click on your layer about text, hold it and drag and drop under this extrude. As you can see, this arrow is down. That means it will be underneath in extrude. Okay, now when we drop it, wow, it's really good. Extrude change our spline to 3D objects like this. And when you click on the extrude, yeah, here we have some options. For example, here is movement. If you click and hold it, you can see we can change size of Z axis like this, and here you can change the position and size of Y axis. I'm gonna change it to 0, and here you can change it to change it from X. Okay, I'm changing to 0. That's really good. And here we have a caps. When you click on the caps, here we have 2 caps. First caps is about this front. If I change it to none, you can see here we haven't that caps now. And if I change this end to none, here we haven't caps on for the back. Okay, now I change it to cap. This is the default. Okay, for a start, if I change it to fillet, that means we don't have a cap, but here we have this stroke and we have this fillet. And when you change this to fillet, here we can adjust our steps. For example, is 1. You can click and change it to 3. And here in radius, you can change size of this fillet. That's really good. And here, when you turn this start or this end, when you turn it to fillet, here we have some options here. Fillet type, if you click on it, first is linear. If you click, you can see it just changes and we can see these steps. Canvas is default. You have some options, for example, step, 1 step or 2 step. We can click and select 2 steps. And here, if you click on the fillet and cap, here we can see that cap too. That's really good. And again here we can change this radius. And if you want for back, again you can select fillet for end, and that means for back of your text or any spline that you want to use it. Now you can just click and drag your material. I will teach you how you can create material and how you can add it to your objects. Okay, that's good. And for example, if I create a cogwheel and here add extrude and drag this cogwheel under this extrude, wow, here you can see change this to 3D, and again it's like this. Here we can change bevel, and in the caps we can add a caps. Here we have change some details. That's really good. and here we can change this, and just after that we can add a material. As we can see, it's very cool. Or you can add many things here, or if you want, you can here just draw a line that you like with pen. For example, here in the right view, you can create something like this, and again come back here, and if you drag this spline, drag it under this extrude, now we can see what's happening now. But here, because for align this spline, just you can select on the spline and change and rotation of that. To here. Okay, now you can see what's happening now. It creates a 3D from our spline. That's really good. Okay, I'm gonna to delete that. Next is lathe. First, delete these items, and here add a lathe. Now if you, for example, add this profile, and now if you drag and drop this underneath lathe, wow, and it rotates the spline from y-axis and create a 3D like this. Or for example, any 2D, if you add it, for example, this arc, if you add this arc, drag it here, and now if I change it underneath the date, wow, it's really cool. Let's create and rotate it from Y and create these objects. Okay, now delete this arc. Now if you click on the lathe, we can create many cool things. For example, from object here, in the movement, you can click and change this movement. You can change it to here, and with subdivision you can add more subdivision, and with scale you can change and decrease your scale. And with this item angle, we can more rotating our object like this, and we can with movement we can change the position like this. And if you click on your spline and then drag it here, we can see we could create many things. For example, again, if you click on the lathe here, you can create some cool thing like this. Or for example, if you want, you can create a text. For example, VFXRZ. And if you change it underneath lathe and delete this profile, okay, now we can see it creates something like this. And when you add a material, you can see it's really good. And if you want, you can add subdivision surface and again change this lathe underneath this subdivision surface. Wow, it's much better. It's very smooth. And again, if you want, here you can change here, increase your scaling, change this angle, and change this movement. And we can create many cool things with this item. That's good. Next is loft. What's loft? Loft, it's create 3D from some spline. For example, if I gonna create arc, and then I wanna create another arc and change it to for example sector, drag it here, or maybe ring, I think it's better. And now if I create a loft and click on these two arcs and drag and drop underneath a loft, now we can see it create a 3D like this from these two arcs. And if I delete this arc and just add one spline underneath this loft, we can see it just create a 2D objects like this. And again, if you hold Control and now change your axis, it creates automatic a copy of that like this. Now we can see we have another arc. And again, if you hold it Alt and change this axis, it's automatic create another arc. We can use Control for duplicate an object. We can use that. Okay. And now here we have 3 spline. When you click on it and change it, as we can see, we can create many things with 3, 4, and many spline. We can create 3D with loft. When you click on the loft, here you can change subdivision surface. And here if you turn on loop, now here we can see it looping and it's end our 3D like this. And if you turn off, you can see filling now is empty. That's really good. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Next is sweep. Sweep is really good and I like it so much because you can create many things here. For example, if you come back to top, I'm gonna to create something like this. Okay, now when you come back here, Now drag this spline underneath this sweep. Sweep, it works with two spline. One of that is for path and one of that for the shape of your 3D object. For example, if I add a circle and change the size to here, and now drag and underneath sweep, wow, it's create this object, and it used this spline for path, and top of that circle is for shaping. But if I change this two layer and change this to up of circle, it change it now, because now our path is circle and our shape is spline, and it creates something like this, and it's not good. But if you change it here, it's much better. Now when you click on the sweep, here again you can change subdivision, and here you can change end scale and end rotation, and here with this option you can change that start growth like this, and here for ending, and here we can change it to here, it's like snake. And again we can see something like this. Okay, and again if I drag this spline here, and now in here go to sketch. Oh no, spline smooth. If you click on it, and here turn on pull and sprawl, and now you can drag it and some random line like this. Okay, now come back to perspective view, and again if you come back this spline under this sweep, and circle should up of this spline. Now you can see it create something like this. It's really cool. When you, for example, add a material, you can see something like this, or here we can create animation for that. Something like this. It's a really useful option in the Cinema 4D. Okay. Next is Bezier. What's Bezier? If I delete this and add a Bezier, I will teach you what is polygon object, but for now just a little I want to show you what is this. Here we should click on this option point, because I want just use this point and I want change position of them. When you click on the Bezier, here 3 for X and 3 for Y. If you change it to, for example, 5 and 5 here, we can see we have more segments here. When you click on it and change it, we can see how we can change this surface. Okay, this. We can create many modeling with these options. Something like this. Okay. In the next lecture, I wanted to show you all these options, and I will teach you how you can create many cool things with modeling panel.